Jungkook and Vine kissed each other in front of everyone. They were looking at each other during the kiss and smiled with their hearts, while everyone else popped up the party poppers and wished them a happy first anniversary. After breaking the kiss, Jungkook held her waist and tucked her hairs behind her ears while saying, "I love you." For everyone cheered while making loud screams. While Vine was blushing, Jungkook gave her a kiss on her red cheek and asked her to cut the cake together. They both held the knife together, and while hearing the anniversary song from everyone, they cut the cake. They fed each other the cake from their hands, and Jungkook put some cake on her nose, making everyone laugh there. Then they fed their friends the cake and they started eating one by one. Everyone's attention was on eating, so Jungkook looked at her as if he was adoring her. "Jungkook, why do you keep getting prettier day by day? I can't take my eyes off you." Vine blushed and put her hands on his shoulders, for she said, "Why do you have to take them off? Keep looking at me." "Vine, so that I can keep looking in your eyes." They were lost in each other that Jungkook's mother suddenly approached him, who, along with her husband, arranged the pool party to congratulate them on their first anniversary. She looked at them, looking at each other, and adored them for a while, as she was really happy that her son Jungkook now has someone else to believe in, to love, and protect, other than his parents. She didn't want to disturb them, but she had an important matter to discuss with Jungkook. Excuse me? I know it's such an important time for you, but forgive me for I have to talk to Jungkook for a minute," Jungkook's mom said to them, while breaking the eye contact between them, for Vine was embarrassed at this. Jungkook smiled, looking at her, and gave his mother a side hug, for Vine greeted her too, and said, "Of course you can, anytime." "Jungkook, eat the cake. I'll come back in a second," he said while kissing her forehead, and went with his mother to a separate room, while Vine looked at the people who were enjoying the party and felt happy looking at them. While she was enjoying her time, some girls also entered the party, and their gait was giving bad vibes. The woman in the center walked like bad model, who was once Jungkook's ex, and all the other girls are her friends that are here for some reason, and that reason is definitely not to enjoy the party. His ex, named Cornelia, moved in and looked at Vine enjoying her time and said, "Is she the one ruling over my property now? She doesn't deserve that," looking at her, she said while scanning her whole body through her eyes with disgust. She approached Vine with the intention of harming her and looks at her, for she claps, looking at her. Vine's attention went towards her, but she didn't recognize Cornelia. She thought she might be some relative of Jungkook, so she went to ask her. "Cornelia, you're having fun right here." "It must be." "Yes, I'm having a lot of fun. Do you want to eat the cake too?" "Here, let me serve you," Vine said, trying to welcome her to the party. "Cake?" Cornelia scoffed. "You already took my man, and now you want me to feed the cake?" You have a nerve to do this. Her cute little smile faded away when she heard this, and as she couldn't understand where she was getting at. Wine, your man? I don't understand. Cornelia, this, this innocence. I don't know what he saw in such a piece of plastic like you. Saying this, Cornelia and her friends started laughing on Wine. Wine, excuse me, who the hell are you to talk to me like that? I will. Cornelia didn't want to listen to her words, which were nonsense to her. To shut her up, she immediately pushed her back to throw her in the pool. And that was it. Her greatest fear met her eye to eye. She couldn't breathe at all. And as she was trying to swim, Cornelia and her friends laughed again while she said, "Let's go. There's nothing else to see anymore." They left from there, leaving her to suffer all alone, while no one else from the party could know about it as they were sitting afar, eating cake and chit chatting with each other. She finally screamed from the fear, which made everyone notice her. Jungkook heard her scream, and in an instant, he knew that it was Wine's voice. Leaving everything else, he rushed to the outside to go towards the pool. Wine looked at the corner and wanted to go there, but she was frozen at her place while shivering. Looking at her in the pool struck terror in Jungkook's heart. He rushed there to pick her up without getting into the pool, as she gathered her last bit of courage to move until there. He put her on one of the chairs after picking her and immediately put off his coat to cover her with it. Wine was once thrown into the river by her bullies when she was in her childhood. She screamed while trying to go up the water, but she couldn't. Finally, a teacher came there to save her, but the shock was too much for her, that it became a trauma for her, as she almost died there. She was having a panic attack when Jungkook put his coat on her back and trying to make her calm down. She was breathing fast when Jungkook said to her, "Wine, Wine, look at me. It's me. You're already out of the water. Look here." Jungkook kept saying those words to calm her down, without getting impatient at all. He was rather worried that she wasn't coming to her senses. Only thing he thought about was this. He instantly crashed his lips upon hers while patting her hair softly. She slowly and gradually looked at him and finally calmed herself down. When Jungkook noticed this, he broke the kiss and looked at her. He held her cheeks from his hands and said to her, "Right, look at me in the eyes. What do you see?" "Whole universe, filled with love only for me," she said and hugged him as tight as she could. She burst in tears after that when he tightened his grip while hugging her. "Jungkook, let's go from here. I have a gift ready for you," he whispered in her ears. "For our anniversary." She giggled when she heard him. She put her hands on his shoulders to say, "Then give me a piggyback ride to the car." "Jungkook, but aren't you wet? I don't want to ruin my branded clothes." Wine pinched his arm while saying, "Are you doing it or not?" "Jungkook, do I look like I have a choice?" She laughed again after hearing him, for he knows how to calm her down. Then he turned his back towards her, and while holding her legs, he picked her up. She rested her head on his shoulder and couldn't be grateful for such a loving husband like him. She almost had tears in her eyes, but she controlled them, as she knows he hates tears in her eyes. Wine. I must be such a good person in my past life to have a husband like you in here. Jungkook. Then why didn't I get that past wine? I'm trying to be serious here, she said while twisting his ears, which made him scream in a low tone. Wine. Say sorry, or I'm not leaving. Jungkook. Okay, I'm sorry. I love you. Forgive me now. Wine left his ear while smiling and put her hands around his neck when she said, I love you too. While Jungkook has some other tasks to do with his ex. But that can wait. He doesn't want to ruin their first anniversary like that. He put Wine in the car and sat beside her to the way home to enjoy their anniversary wildly the whole night without any disturbance.